Once you've been a student for so long, you become so trained on this idea that you are a student and a student only, and this is your sort of main purpose in life. So the Sharing Our Hearts Collaborative initially was known as the College of Pharmacy Review, or the COP Review. The concept of the project was just to allow students a non-competitive space to share things with other people about themselves, about things that they can produce outside of the grades that they're able to produce in the classroom. I personally myself had a lot of pent-up energy where I wanted to express my identity in a way where I wasn't just a student or a student pharmacist.
I think it was really important for our students to have something else beyond competition. They competed so much to get into school, and that they are trying so hard to be at their best. Sometimes you just need to relax, and that well-being part of it. As health practitioners, we spend so much time focusing on others and helping others. Sometimes we forget about ourselves.
I think some people were really proud of their artwork, and that was really fun to see that they were excited to share with their peers some of their strengths that weren't related to a grade or to a GPA. The other part that I personally was proud of was just the vulnerability, coming forward with some of their struggles and difficulties that they captured through poetry and through photographs or other written works.
I think it's an opportunity for people to come together, maybe people who have shared interests, that you wouldn't know it unless you saw somebody's photograph up on the wall. Yeah, so I think that's an important way to have people come together, and not just as colleagues, but maybe with patients as well.
It doesn't have to be Picasso painting or a masterpiece. This project is all about coming together as a community, supporting each other, listening to each other. It's about being together.
What I've learned in working with these science students is that inevitably when they come into class, they'll say, I'm not creative. And through the classes that we've had together or the advanced pharmacy practice 5-week experience that they have where they're teaching with me, they're the ones that are designing the handouts. They're the ones that are creating the exercises, team building exercises. We're running retreats with them, and all of that is art.
Many people also mentioned that art was not really their thing, but since we distributed art kits, they thought, well, why not to try out a hand at it? During the pandemic, what we proposed to do was build art kits and distribute in our community, and then host a virtual meeting where people who are interested in painting with crayons or oil paints, canvas, can just be together without actually physically being together. And it can be a paint-along evening. That evening was good because people weren't really thinking about all the stresses that they were having. It just helped them unwind.
I was in the first class of the leadership emphasis area, the LEA. I'm very interested in healthcare and science, and I'm also very interested in the arts and culture. And so I was able to do some of that programming as a student, and that has carried through even now, through today, through my activity and involvement with the Pharmacy Alumni Society and creating an arts and cultures series.
As part of the leadership emphasis area, we had an experience where we got to interact with the art at the Wiseman Art Center on campus. Our class had an activity where we all looked at the same piece of art and wrote down what we thought about the art, what we thought it meant. It was sort of an abstract piece. We really got to hear how many different interpretations of the art piece existed within one space. We were able to sort of apply that lens to leadership as well.
Every person is a person first and a pharmacist second. So having, whether it's a coping mechanism or just a release of talent, everybody has that something that kind of recenters and regrounds them. Even if it's as simple as I listen to music when I study, there's always a connection that you can make, and it's very rarely through the actual science of what you're doing. The science of what you're doing is getting the right answer. It's the human connection that's added when you talk about art and when you be a person to your patients. The journey of I now know how to talk to my patients and explain what's going on.
I believe it is important for arts and science to come together to help facilitate communications with patients, between patients and practitioners, between colleagues. Again, it's an opportunity to build relationships, and that's the number one thing.
Scientists need to be artists to be able to communicate their science well in a digestible and comprehensible fashion.
As years have gone on in my experience, more and more students are coming to appreciate the idea of a more expansive view of medicine and science and patient care. So that gets back to my social pharmacy. It's patient care that I study. So I'm studying that human communication that we want to have. And so anything that you can do to help that communication avenue is a benefit.
The whole world of medicine is art. It's not only a creative outlet for a lot of our students and our faculty, but it's also a way that we practice medicine.